So we started working with ConnectiKids, which is a positive youth development organization, and essentially we wanted to get a sense of their long-term success. So we used a mixed method study, submitting data of 161 participants to the National Student Clearinghouse, which gave us back completion rates and enrollment rates for college. We also sent out a survey and interviews, and we got back fewer responses for those because of our time limits and because they were such old names, because we're again looking for longitudinal success. But we got a lot of great anecdotes, and we got some pretty significant statistics, including the fact that Connecticut's attendance rate for college of those 161 was 50.3% compared to a Hartford attendance rate of 20%, which is a 250% statistical difference, which is really significant. And then when you compare attendance and completion for, say, a 4-year, it was 16.8% for attendance and 16.2% for completion, which means that basically if they are going to school, they're completing it, which is really important. And then also we found a lot of really good stories, specifically surrounding mentors from ConnecticKids, past mentors. We had multiple mentors mentioned by name in interviews, talking about Ricardo and Chad and how they were really important to their successes and their memories in ConnecticKids. And one even mentioned that they attended his funeral and that they still kept in touch with these people later in life, which was really significant.
Hi, my name is Sam. I'm a current sophomore at Trinity College, and I'm going to talk about our Liberal Arts Action Lab project. So we work with the organization Connecticut Fair Housing. Connecticut Fair Housing is an organization based in Connecticut that fights housing discrimination cases, and their main focus is trying to move into the realm of environmental justice and highlighting historical discriminatory policies and how those connect to modern day environmental issues. And so when we were starting off our project, we basically were looking at lead poisoning within Hartford. So we had three major aspects of our question. It was, why is lead poisoning still an issue? Where is the lead in Hartford? And then what can be done with that? And so through that, we did a multi-level mapping project, and what we were basically trying to do is prove a correlation between redlining and higher risk of lead poisoning within minority populations. Throughout our research, simply put, we were not able to find it, and that's more a result of historic housing discriminatory policies within the city of Hartford. The entire city of Hartford is actually at a very high lead risk level, because one of the main determining factors in determining a lead risk level is poverty and age of housing. And Hartford is filled with old homes. The median age of a house being built was 1953, and the majority of the population here we have a very high percentage of people below the federal poverty line. So with this project, we were able to determine that there might not be a correlation, but there still is a relationship between discriminatory historical housing policies and racism here. There's still, in Hartford, redlining has affected multiple minority populations, and our big recommendation is basically to compare the city of Hartford to West Hartford, and we believe you will be able to find a correlation between those two areas and lead poisoning and redlining.
Our project is about COVID-19 and the community health workers that work with the Hispanic Health Council. Originally, our project wanted to focus on the perspectives of youth ages 18 to 24 and look at the way they conceptualize their experiences with COVID. Unfortunately, we did run into issues with the IRB approval, and we also learned that for a lot of people, talking about COVID just proves to be full of a lot of just emotional, reliving that experience. COVID-19 has affected everyone differently, and some people are less willing to talk about it than others. So ultimately, we just decided to focus on the community health workers and how they explain the hesitancy for vaccine uptake. And ultimately, we found that there is not one single reason for vaccine hesitancy. It can range from conspiracy theories, misconceptions, systemic racism. So everyone has a very different understanding. Sometimes these people just need to be listened to, be heard out. Sometimes they just, need to be redirected with resources in their target language. So ultimately, just giving more information was the goal of our project, which we compiled.
Hi, I'm Scott. We're with the Liberal Arts Action Lab. and we currently are assessing tools for anti-racist education. We're doing this by partnering with the Hartford Federation of Teachers. Through this, they gave us a set of goals and outcomes they wanted to accomplish. A lot of these were to evaluate past anti-racist trainings, along with levels of discipline that were done in Hartford Public Schools. So we created a survey that was sent out to the teachers at HMTCA, and we will use this data from the survey to relay to the Board of Education to make some solutions and try to figure out what we can do to solve this issue in Hartford.